Hello, today we're going to be doing an Onshape tutorial on how to make a bracket. So we're going to have a little screwing mechanism in this bracket, and we will get the idea from Thingiverse. So I opened up a brand new insert tab, create part studio. Okay, I believe you should know how to do that already. So now we will put in a new name and we'll call this clamp. Okay. And I will hide a couple of these. So I will hide this one. So I don't need my top and I don't need the right. So just kind of click on that little eyeball. And then over here I can click and I can go to the front here. Okay. So first thing I want to do is just basically build a C. So I'm going to do a sketch on the front plane. Okay. And I'm going to build, what I can do is just start with lines. So I can, 60 millimeters long. Let's see, what's 60 millimeters long feel like? Yeah, that's right there's 58 millimeters long. Okay, 60 millimeters long right there. All right, and yeah, I think that's sufficient because we're going to put something on the very top of this. So get it approximately that. And we're going to take it down and we're going to make it probably 60 millimeters length to there. Okay, and then we can tuck this in a little bit. So let's say 50, and then we're going to have a general thickness of 10 millimeters, and then we can plug all that stuff in. So if I wanted to kind of want to stick to that other point right above it, what I do is I grab it and then I just pull it down. So that connected that guy to there. All right, so we built our basic piece. Now we're going to our dimensioning, and now we will dimension this, and we'll make it everything 10 millimeters. So it's going to grow a little bit, and then we're going to have to decide what size to total size to make this. So remove that one. Control Z to remove that. Click, click, 10. Enter. All right, and then we want from this edge to this edge, I want, let's say 50, and this one to this one 60. Okay, so now that basically is done. Okay, so now we can start to build. We could start extruding off of this, or yeah, I think that's probably good. We may want to put a nice general radius inside of here, so let's do a fillet. So I'm going to click on my top view, get back in there, put a fillet here. This is going to have some pushing forces. So as you are screwing in this, it's going to start pushing, and it could theoretically, break in this area. So we'll put a nice 10, let's see, 10 millimeters. There we go. And we can clean this one up. So 10 plus 10, we're going to do a 20 on this edge right here. And then 20 should look, yep, okay. Okay, now 10 here. 10. And then 20 here. Okay. So that should work for us. Okay. So now I'm going to, and now that I just put this large, I need to change that one right there. So let's change that to 10. It doesn't like that. Okay, so red means over constrained, so I will remove that. Let's change this 20. It likes 20. Okay, as soon as I click 10, it doesn't, it must have some sort of equals here. I'm going to get rid of that equals. There we go. That was it. I'm going to change this to 10. There we go. All right. This one should be 20, I think. Let's go 20 here. Let's see what 20 looks like. It doesn't like that because it's saying it's equal to it. No, not equal. Okay, there we go. Now it looks better. Now we'll make this one 20. Okay, and then get rid of that equals. All right, now we're good to go. So 50. We may have to play around with this. So if this is 50 millimeters and we put, let's say, M8 bolt in here, M5 bolt, it might, M8, it should be okay. Should be fine. All right, so I'm going to finish this one right here. And then what I want to do now is I want to kind of scroll up. I want to take this surface, I want to extrude it. So I'm going to do this extrusion right here. And we're going to make this, let's say, how thick do we want this clamp? Let's see, 25 millimeters. maybe 30 millimeters sounds good to me. Okay. Did we see that? We got 30 millimeters. Yep. Okay. I think 30 is good. Okay. So here we go. 30 millimeters. Okay. Say okay. So that's for our first extrusion. Okay. So now I want to poke a hole right in here and have the hole about centered here. So I'll just draw a little crosshairs in there. So I'm going to go to sketch on the surface right here. And let's choose a line. So it should, right there, you see the little symbol there. So that's midpoint to midpoint. And then I can right click, escape that line, and hit L for our line, go to the line again, midpoint, right click, escape. So those are two lines. And since I don't want to like extrude these two lines, I can make these construction lines. So I can hit this button right here, and this are construction, and that changes them. Right click, confirm sketch. It jumped me out of the sketch, and then to turn these back off of orange, I want to hit the space bar. So let me go back into the sketch, and now I want to put my hole right there. So I'm going to go with this hole right here, and we will go with a M5. Let's say the M5 bolt is 4 millimeters minimum diameter needed. So let's see, let's put a dimension on this guy. Actually, we can go much larger. Let's go with 8. And let's go with 7 because we're going to poke a hole, and that hole will allow for a M8 bolt. Okay, so now we're going to extrude that surface. This guy right here, we're going to extrude him through the other way. So hit this button for opposite. Okay, and hit OK. And we see that nothing happened. So let me go back to here and let me take a look and see what happened. Why did it do that? Okay, it must have pushed it all the way through or something. Is blind. I want through all, not through all of the piece. Okay, blind, and I want it. Why did it not remove? Oh, that's it. So it's doing a boss basically. Now we want to remove. Okay, so there we go. Now we got our hole. So we just gotta click that remove. Say okay. All right. So now we got our size, and we should be able to put a M8 bolt inside of there. Alright, so we're going to work on the threads of this guy now. So let's do an extrude. Okay. Now, as you can see, if I select here, it's just going to select this whole face. I don't want that. So what I want to do, I can hold down Shift, and I should be able to unselect that. And then I can go into my sketch and pull only the sketch piece from there, and then pull out my bolt hole size that we want. So we're going to go with a 50 millimeter here. Okay. So hit OK, and the way that you would create this bolt thread is you would add a helix here. There is a feature called external threads, and the reason that we don't use external threads, so if I choose this M8, I choose that right there, this cylinder edge, okay, it's not going to let me, it's going to choose M7 because my hole size here is M7, okay? And when we add that, it's actually not going to put it in there, so it's not good for any 3D printing purposes. So to make this easier, I will delete this external thread, and I will delete this extrude, okay? Alright, so now we're going to start, so now we're going to go to a McMasterCar website, and I'll just show you how I got to here. So McMasterCar.com, alright, they will provide a lot of 3D CAD for you automatically, so all you gotta do is put in what you want. So I want a M8 bolt, okay, and it's going to tell me, you know, what kind of M8 bolt do you want. So I'm going to slide down, I want metric, I want a socket head cap screw, and this type right here. So strength doesn't really matter. This is we just need, you know, cheap and available. You know, maybe you can pick this up at your local hardware store or something. Yeah, Lowe's, Home Depot would have stuff like this too. So here we go. We got an M8 fully threaded course, and we want, what's our total length of it? Let's see, we're going to go about 60 millimeters. So 60 millimeters fully threaded course, and then we can download that, and then 3D IGES. Let's try a step file, see if it allows that. download. Okay, looks like that worked. Okay, so that downloaded. So now I'm going to go back to my part studio and I'm going to do an import. So I'm going to try to import that file right there. So not that one. Erase that. So now I'm going to go to the import. So now I'm going to go to the import and then file, import. Right there's my new step file. I will open that. I will import appearances, import in this document, import. Okay. So now it's downloading and we should see a new thing pop up here down here in the bottom. So I will close this, or it should close automatically. Alright, so we got our M8 bolt right here. Okay, and now we need to import this bolt into our assembly or our part right here. So let's go here. Okay, we're going to go to derived part right up here. Okay, we're going to throw this in here and it's saying part studio. So which one do we want? We want this one right here. Okay, and we want to, it's automatically importing it. Okay, close that. And now we can say okay. Now it actually threw that inside of there. Okay. So now I want to place this on here. Of course, I want to flip it around. So I'm going to do a transform. The transform function is right here. Click on our bolt. We're going to rotate it about a line. So let's rotate it about this line, this axis here at 90 degrees. Okay. 180 degrees, sorry. Okay, perfect. Say okay. And then we want to actually put this bolt in there. So now I want to maybe find a center point of this bolt right here. Okay, so oops, using the middle mouse button to pan it back into position, hold down that middle mouse button. So I'm going to create a sketch on this surface right here. Okay, and I'm going to create a line from this face to this face. Oh yeah. Okay, right click, escape that line. Say okay, and now actually I want to go back in this sketch, and then I want to put a point on the middle of that line right there, midpoint. Okay, okay, here we go. All right, so we did that. So now we want to transform this back into the other one. So transform. All right, so we want to transform our part, and then what is it? Transform by mate connections. Okay, so from here, okay, to pan it over here to there. Should pop into position. Okay, it did opposite of what I wanted, so maybe I can do a rotate secondary axis. Let's see what it does. Should fix it for me. Maybe. Oh, okay, it's rotating something. Okay, we can work with that. That's no problem. So just another translation, not a problem. All right, so transform again. Transform this guy. We're going to have to transform about a line inside of here. So transform rotation axis is, where'd my line go? My line disappeared. So let me create a new sketch here. I want to create a line between this, and this is what I will rotate about. Okay, there's my line. Okay, and now I want to do the transform again. Transform this guy about rotation about this line and 180 degrees. There we go. Okay, now we are actually done. Alright, so it is placed inside of there. This is 8 millimeter. This is a 7mm hole. And now we should be able to grab the Boolean feature, and we can do a subtract now. So now when we use a subtraction, we click on that, we choose the tool. Sometimes if I get this confused, I'm sure everyone else will. So tools, this is our tool, and this should be our target, and we are removing that from there. We'll make a copy afterwards, but let's show what it does. Okay, so now we got our threads inside of here. Okay, so those are the threads that we want, and there is a little goofy issue right here. This is like a chamfer lead-in, which might be okay. That might be okay. And then, so now, where'd our part go? We could rederive a part, but let's undo. and then let's just choose a different function of that subtraction. So we're going to go back to Boolean, and then we're going to go to subtract. We're going to choose our tool. This is our tool. This is our target, and we want to keep the tool because, okay, we want to keep that. All right, so now if we hide this part, hide that part, our threads are still in there, and our part is still in there. So now that's good. So now we got a store-bought bolt, or we could possibly 3D print this. We may have to play with some of the lines inside of here, make this a little bit smaller versus this one so it will thread in properly. But yeah, that's most likely, I would say, in that case, keep the bolt the same, just adjust this small amount of thread inside of here. So what we would do is we'd just go inside of here, maybe do an offset, or create your own helix and then a subtract, do a extrude a helix throughout there. Okay. Alright, so now we will start to create the little top mechanism for the very top of this. And we can possibly use a store-bought nut, or we can create our own piece of plastic that does that. So let's create a sketch on this face right here. And okay, now we're going to just start with a line. Okay, and then that line we want to have, let's see, we want it 8 millimeters. We can stick it to that one, to the top of front view. Okay, so this, we're going to mirror this shape, or we could do a revolve. Okay, now I click there, and now I want to revolve this. Okay, so I want to create a brand new one. My revolve axis is this right here, and my faces and edges to revolve are here. So there we go. And now we can shrink this down if we want, or we can throw this directly into there. What I'm going to say is, let's put it, I'm going to put it right on top of one of those holes, and then we can subtract out some of the threads from it. So let me do a transform. So I will do transform. Okay, we can do a mate. Should be able to take it from this surface right here, from mate connector to other right there. Okay, and then entities to transform this guy, and we want opposite. So let's see if it will let us do the opposite face. Nope. Okay, that's what can we do? That face to this face. Oh, okay, I know why. It just took them directly and flipped it. I don't know why it flipped it. It's kind of odd. Flip primary. There we go. Okay, that's what we want. Just flip the primary axis. Alright, so now we could actually do another transform after we get this one here. Now we'll push this guy up. Okay, let's grab transform. Where's my transform? Right there. We're going to move this guy up. Translate with XYZ, and then we're going to look over here on the right hand side. We see in yours view being the Z, positive Z, so we're going to move that up. We just grab this too, so we can pull that all the way up there, and we can actually take it into the other piece. That's okay, but I'm going to make a nice even number of 50. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to bring my threads back in here. All right, and then should be able to see that yeah, this should be going into it. It doesn't look like it's going in much, so I'm going to change that transform back. Actually, it's not that transform, it's this transform. I'm going to move it back a little bit so now we can see through it. Alright, so we got lots of threads. That seems like plenty. She's okay. And now we are going to do a subtraction inside these two guys. Okay, so now I will, let's see if it hits. No, nothing hitting here, so that's good. If this is fully extended, it should not hit. And we can have a little gap because the table is always going to be a little thick. There's going to be something between that, right? That's our thought. And now I will do a subtraction. So here I will go to subtract, select my tool. So this is my tool, this is my target, and then I want to keep the tool, say okay. So now if I hide my part, alright, I just did the opposite. So as you can see, I just chopped the bolt. So let's undo that. And then we're going to go back to Boolean and then just swap these two. So we want the tool is the actual stainless steel. So let's undo that. And then, so tool is this guy. And then target is this, oh, not that guy. Target is this guy. Keep the tool. And now we should be good to go. There we go. We got threads inside of there. And once again, if you need to make these threads just a little bit bigger, you can do an offset. But let's get our part. So now we got our C clamp pretty much. Everything is made. This is all one kind of. It is an assembly in true aspects, but is actually in one part file. So it's in this M8 bolt file right here. So yeah. So we're going to be using a store-bought bolt, or you could do the 3D printing of that. You could export this out as a STL and make all these through your 3D printer if you wanted, or an outside company to make this for you, however you wanted to do that. So hopefully you guys learned something from this tutorial here and understand a little better that you can use outside resources to pull in, information. McMaster-Carr is a very good website to use for pulling in data, pulling, standard size or metric components. So I highly recommend using that website, or Masumi is another one. And then we can go here to Masumi. They will, if you may have to create an account, but you can go in here and pull bolts and stuff like that, set screws, bolts, toggles, all kinds of 3D CAD can be pulled from this website. So best of luck. Thanks.